That's what I think. I believe it's 8 o'clock. We'll give it a shot here, echo or no echo, the old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The old Tube Radio Network.
Boy, that orchestra can really make the REA meter dance there in the little scope. The old Tube Radio Network, maybe that's how I'll talk. That we're in the big arena tonight. They've got the loudspeakers out at the pool. We've got monitors elsewhere. I don't know how else to explain the strangeness of... Whoa. Okay, let's not do that. Let's not remove that clip lead. Here on the old Tube Radio Network. Real Radio's Glowing in the Dark. That will be happening shortly. First, the direct and net roll call, and then your radio check-ins. My name is Dennis. The net control, for no other good reason. It's just I happen to be in here in the air chair tonight. The old Tube Radio Network heard live through the Central Valley of California at 27085, Channel 11, and maybe elsewhere if we have some conditions tonight. Although things have been quite quiet, you can pick us up on your Universal Media Netweb at oldtuberadio.net if you got the right item of interest, and you might even be watching us on the YouTube thing that happens occasionally. So with that said, we will start with the direct and net roll call. I may make a... I may make a... Oh, I know. Right there. Right there. All right. I couldn't remember which control I have to turn down, and I think that's the one. This is the echo right there. All right, so we'll keep that. We will keep that down, maybe right about there, and I think I'll be able to hear what happens. Anyway, OTR is standing by, and we start check-ins. .00. I wonder if I know this guy never has an echo. Hello, Phil, if you're out there.
Well, good evening, Dennis. Double Lot checking in. Did you get my APRS upload text last week? Over.
You know, I may have it. I haven't got around. There's another station I talked to that says you can do the texting on APRS. So it's probably, if it happened and if I was on at the same time, I don't know exactly how it works. I might have it in like a buffer on the radio. I don't know. The long answer to your question is, wherever it is, I haven't seen it yet. Over.
Oh, that's no problem. I just look on APRS.fi, and in the little bubble that comes up, there's an upload text. But you'd have to go back a week to see it anyway. Anyway, Double Lot checking in.
Okay, because that's the item that I often have up is the APRS.fi, and there's probably a portion or a place that I need to look, or an icon I need to click on to see if it's there. So I have to research that. Otherwise, it could be something in the radio. In fact, I saw your Running Man not too long ago. My little icon is up there right now, so I will see, because that would be the first text I've got, and I should learn how to do that. You are sounding good. Welcome back to You Know Where, and thanks for checking in. Then also a check-in for SWL number 1 out there listening in, wondering how all this is still going on. Well, I think it is. SWL number 2, Mr. OBP, on earlier over on the video side, saying that conditions have been good, not so good on the higher frequencies, but that will change soon. So, Kevin, if you're listening, got you checked in. SWL3 from Facebook, I believe. Check in for Rob. I'm not sure what the CARP gang is up to. I think they had some race function or something going on. SWL4. Shortwave listener number 5. My receive should be a bit better this week. The problem that was solely mine last week was I swapped antennas when I was moving things around. So I was on the 1040 vertical rather than the 11-meter Starduster for the transmitter, and then the HF receiver was on the other antenna. So that's what brought the noise floor up and the incoming signals down. So hope all will be better this week. Let's see, nothing heard there. SWL6. And we do have the Echo Link. Link is up tonight. We'll be checking it out shortly and see where it's at. I'm not sure. I have not read the directions on that either. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what button I need to press. 354870. No, 354870, and we'll pick up everybody briefly on that when we can. Let's go over to SWL7.
SWL7 checking in.
And sounding good. Hope I'm making it through whatever staticky noise might be happening. It's actually kind of quiet here tonight. Over to SWL10. Chrissy and Dwayne should be in shortly, probably. SWL13. You can leave a message, a note at old2radio.net. There's a little chat page that sometimes it comes up properly. I'll keep an eye out for comments there. Of course, you can always go to 27085. Did I mention you don't even need to have an old tube radio to take a transmission? We'd like to hear everybody. The radios will be the star of the program here coming up in a little bit, though, or leave us a comment on the video page if you are watching live, because the comments will be up then. Over to SWL14. SWL16. Charlie is there out of Anoka, Minnesota. Looking good. Working the room tonight. Everything seems to be functioning. We got in early. I had the echo thing. We sort of chased that down, and then we thought, well, let's just put up speakers, and if the echo thing is part of the program tonight, so be it. But anyway, it always is nice to have the help in getting this going on. Hope all is okay out there in Minnesota. Here in California, we're expecting the mother of all October rainstorms to be happening, at least in the Central Valley, in about 24 hours. It's going on along the coast already. We'll have to check and see if Mitch is getting any rain. He may be too far south. Over to SWL17. SWL18. Got a check-in, Mr. KDA, from the Facebook sign. SWL19, that is Chet out there in Derby, New York, and Chet is working the front over here with the cue cards. I think I've got everything memorized. I'm working off the printed papers tonight, but they'll keep me honest. We are going over to. I have not heard a key up from the west side yet. How about SWL20?
Now you have. Please check in. Myself, 29 and 54.
All right, like I am on the right antenna tonight, I'll be able to hear your low power stations sans the range boost tonight, I do believe. So you are sounding good.
Yeah, I have the range boost on so that Paul up in the mountains can hear me. Okay. I will have an item of interest to check in, and an item off of eBay that I want to ask if anybody had seen, so I'll do that. Well, it's a special D104 microphone, and let's see if anybody can think which one it is. If anybody saw it on eBay. Okay, it's a special D104 mic. Okay, we'll be out.
All right, well, aren't all microphoniums special? And I guess eBay still lives. I don't think I've checked in for 10 years, so I think my username has probably gone away. But I'm glad you are still able to acquire and or find things that way. The Old Tube Radio Network, directed net roll call. If you're playing the home game, we are on page 1. Someone asked for the Echo Link link. You might be able to find it at Old Tube Radio Network. However, you can look for 354-870, and I will again try to jump in on that. It's a little tricky with the delay between what you're listening to and where you're at, so I will try to make sure that I give everybody fair warning that I may or may not be coming to them. Over to SWL21 from the Wasama Swamps. JT, as always, is taking a much-needed rest from Old Radio Night, where tonight, let's see if I can dial up, where tonight, yeah, it is the very nice Tram Titan 2, the Maverick reverse preamp. That is a great-sounding radio. And I love the way that you can hear his relay thump in when he keys
Okay, there.
Keys up the microphone.
I'll give you a call there tomorrow.
See, hey, he hasn't turned down
Crazy
Man.
Man's house today to help him with his antenna.
What a great guy.
And then he needed help plugging his dryer in.
Yeah.
So I had to lay on top of the washing machine while 655 pulled the dryer back. And I laid on top of the washing machine and reached down there behind it and plugged the dryer in. I give Crazy Man my phone, and when I left, I forgot about it.
And with all the spiders and all the dryer lint. What a great guy, JT. You deserve a rest tonight. I'm gonna put 2 X's. I'm putting 2 X's in for 21. Old Radio Night. Check it out before this net. By going to Old Radio Night, Dirty Diaper 21, where you will see some great radios all the time. Over to SWL 22. And SWL 23. This is a good time for me to check out, and I got to make sure I've got it turned up. It's one of these knobs over here. Check out the Echo Link link. We'll see what I can get. Let me see if I can. Am I even connected? I think I'm connected. On the Echo Link. I've got to go over to this button. And then, there we go. All right. How do we do this? KB6GFD. Checking out the Echo Link link, the up and back, as we used to say, the forward and back, the EBNO Hello Radio.
We interrupt this radio program for breaking news. Today, The Sun, dismayed by CB radio operators' apparent total lack of regard for its warming properties and daily light shows, has petitioned the Interstellar Court of Appeals to legally change its name, to better reflect its highly valued role in creating atmospheric propagation of radio waves, for the sheer amusement of DXs. The yellow dwarf star will henceforth be known as the Orb, an acronym for Orbital Radio Beacon. The Orb also said that it would no longer serve as the star at the center of the solar system, but would instead orbit the Earth. The reversal of roles is quote, Earthlings have it all under control, as evidenced by their wars, pollution, and global warming. In response, a spokesperson for Planet Earth said that the first day of the calendar week would be renamed, and that all future references to the star formerly known as the Sun would be eliminated. We now return you to your regularly scheduled program already in progress, you selfish bastards.
Well, there you go. I don't know what that means for Cycle 25, but you might need to point your beams in a different direction. The Echo Link is up and running, regardless of where the sun might be at this point. I know it's dark outside. All right. Well, hopefully we'll get through the net. Maybe that's where all that weird static is coming from. Let's try SWL 24. SWL 25.
Well, hello, Dennis. check in on OTR tonight, which is one of my favorite things. Anyway, back to you, Dennis. Everything is fine here. Back to you.
All right, looks good. I know the atmospheric river hasn't jumped over the bridge yet. Things are not raining yet, and maybe the sun will never come out again. So we'll have fun on the old Tube Radio Network while it lasts. Good to have you back on the air, and we'll look for you next time over.
Yeah, very good, Dennis. Anyway, thank you, and hello to the rest of the SWLs, and please proxy in 74 if you don't mind. Anyway, back to you, Dennis. Thank you.
All right, so will do. 74 will get to check in as well, and likewise 25. Thanks for checking in. I'm turning the page so that I can find SWL 27. Over.
27's checking in live from Studio G.
All right, looking good in Studio G tonight. I hope you have checked all the... let's see, you've got a new roof on Studio G, so you shouldn't be worried at all about the rain coming up.
I better not be.
Yeah, for the amount that new roofs cost, you might as well put all the radios out there and be safe. Looking good. We got you checked in.
Roger. Thanks, Dennis.
Let us go over to SWL 28, and if we go to the proper screen, Gary will be right there like he always is, saying good evening and checking in, and he's hunkering down for the big storm. Gary's north of us here, about 160, 200 miles, so they will be getting the rain first, and they will probably be getting more of it. So hopefully it's a good thing. It'll wash out all the dust out of the power insulator things that are buzzing, and hopefully the coax is secured. Thanks, Gary, for checking in. Have a proxy check-in for Mr. 29. Still looking for SWL 30. Maybe, I don't know what's happening in Idaho. They may be actually, I think they are getting the rain right now, so maybe it's storming up there and they have to, I'll make sure I get Chrissy and Dwayne checked in. They may have to have things kind of on the QT until the storm passes over. Over to SWL 31. Checking who's in the audience tonight. Up in the balcony, Louisville, Kentucky, Moncks Corner, South Carolina, Dallas, Georgia, coming up to you. The unknown SWL. You see somebody with the telescopic antenna in the bag over their head. You know it is the unknown SWL. Blanchester, Ohio, Pottstown, Pennsylvania. My screen is tilted, so the letters aren't showing up very well. Woodland Park, Colorado, is always at the ready with the antennas, ready to report any E-skip happening in. Shinston, West Virginia, hello to you. Temecula, California, good to see Temecula in there. Was that the home of, or just south of Lawrence Welk? And I can't play any Lawrence Welk music because I think it's, I can do the bubble. I can do that pop bubble thing. Hello to Hermosa Beach, Fresno, Canby, Oregon, coming up to you, Anoka, Belfast, and others on your old Tube Radio Network. Over to SWL 32. SWL 33, Bozo Control. Where is Bozo? Where's the honking proboscis? I think we can do that. Over to SWL 34, Jimmy and the gang. SWL 35, Mr. Bill checking in from Cheyenne, Wyoming just moments ago, where I think if it's raining there, it probably start turning into snow at some point. It's warm right now. It's 65, so if there's going to be any snow, it's going to be way up in the mountains, I think. Over to SWL 36. SWL 37.
SWL 37 here, Dennis. Thank you for checking me.
And thanks for that. I'm going to go back one to 36. Yeah, there he is. That's Jerry is in there. Let me jump on. It's weird. If I don't hit the right button, I go somewhere else beside the transmit. SWL36. Jerry is in. You have posted some very, very great pictures. I might try and pull a few of them up off of the Facebook page tonight. In fact, you know what I might do? I might be able to do one right now. Let's see if it's there. Yeah, there's, and I like this radio because I actually have one of these. It's the Pierce Simpson Guardian, and I don't know if that's, the 23, the Guardian 23, and I notice it's on channel 11. I have done OTR net control from that a couple of times. Back to you, Jerry. Take a transmission.
Yeah, KB6 GFD in the group, WR5G. Well, good evening, Dennis. And yes, that is an old Guardian 23. I've gone through, I've recapped the radio, done all of the adjustments, replaced, I don't think I had to replace any tubes in it, but anyway, went through and did a cleanup on it this last week and made sure everything was functioning on it. So it's a good old radio, and I really enjoy that. I've got some others that I need to do some work on here pretty soon as well. So, and I'll post those on Facebook as I get them done. It's good to take some photos and have some memories and show other people out there, some of the old rigs, and look forward to hearing some of the old tube type audio a little bit later on tonight. So I'll turn it back over to you, Dennis. WR5G.
86 GFT. All right, very good, Jerry. Yeah, some great photos, great shots on not only the outside but the inside, doing some refurbs. I have not looked inside of mine, but it's probably needs the capacitors as well. I know my Regency Imperial does, and when I do, that will probably be on the shelf here for the radio transmit. Sounds good. Thanks for jumping in there tonight, and we will talk to you next time. And yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to hearing the radios, which will be coming up, so don't go away. 86G. All right, Jerry's in. Chris is in. Let's go over to SWL 38. SWL 39. All right, I hear you, Dan. Let me give you the X in the square or the check mark or whatever it is that we do, and hopefully everything is okay out at the ranch. Over. All right, I think you said everything was under control, and that is good. All right, thanks for checking in. And you are a little in my noise, but that is because my antenna is pretty much subterranean. Thanks for joining us on OTR tonight. Over to SWL 40. And I think 40's in the basement tonight. I'll get 40 checked in. Let's try SWL 41. And I'll put the X way out there in New York. SWL 41, 2 International Sideband 507 from Hudson Valley, waving a hand and saying good evening to everyone. Thanks for being there, 507. SWL 42.
Yeah, that's Proxy and 42 in the gang.
All right, will do. 42 in the gang, proxied in. Also, I got to check in for Mr. Crazy Eddie. SWL 44 was sounding really good. I was hearing him really well last night on the Ditch Banks sideband net, Ray up there in around the corner and behind my antenna. So, Ray, if you're listening, I'll get you checked in. Probably can't hear me live and direct, but I think he's got a new radio or new antenna because he's sounding good. Let's go up to North Fork, SWL 45.
When the storm comes in, you're sounding real good, Dennis. 45.
All right, well, we'll see. I don't know if I don't hear any lightning crashes or anything like that yet, so it's definitely on its way, and it may not be. It may just be a lot of water. All right, got you checked in.
Thanks, Dennis.
SWL 46. SWL 47.
Oh, good evening,
to all from the Radio Lounge, SWO 47.
All right, enjoy the lounge while it is still dry.
You know, I've made this comment several times. I was going to go out to the radio patio this evening, but I got too lazy. I had every intention on going out there before, I guess, Monday's rainstorm, but laziness rules.
This is the laziness rules frequency. You have come to the right spot. I've got you checked in. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you, sir.
SWL 48. I give Mr. KP a check-in. He was around somewhere. He always is. Let's try SWL 49. SWL 50. SWL 51.
SWL 51, checking in.
Dave out there near Sangertown, where they've got the canals dry and ready to take up all that water. Sounding good, Dave. We got you checked in. Over. SWL 52. And SWL 53.
Hello, Dennis. 53 checking in.
53 checking in. Hello, Bob. Sounding good. We've got you on the roster. Over. Indeed. We're going to be turning the page. Before I do, I want to say hello to, let me go up the list here and see who is joining us from whenever and wherever. Big hello from Charleston, South Carolina. I thought I saw Charleston in there earlier tonight. Hemorrhoid. John Ferrara's in Scranton, doing a yabba dabba doo. Cornbread is in. Cornbread is up. He usually hits all the vendors up there, Squamish Boys in BC, and down to the green room, and is pretty much set to go before the net even starts. That is a real fan of OTR when you can do that. Hello to Phil, Rusty Rails, Old Tube Radio Time, 148 in Arkansas is listening in. I've not heard a speck of DX, not even from the mini grass tonight. Oscar Sierra 2, November Sierra. Is what it looks like on my tiny screen here. Checking in for the first time, a long time. One of those long-time listeners, first-time callers out there in Northwest Florida. Good to have you on the list tonight. John is in Juliet Whiskey, waving a hand. KJG 4755 from KEO 8492. And Worldwide Sidebander 101 says they spoke to some of the operators on 38 lower sideband in Fresno this week. Chris, SWL 37, and a lot. So we have some great radio stations that represent the Central Valley here on 38 lower sideband. So you will find them ready, willing, and able to chat with you at any time when the bands are in. So tell them OTR sent you, or like you're saying, they sent you here. So good deal. Thanks for jumping in. Who else can we get in before we turn the page here? Transistorized, Kilowatt Bravo 6, Romeo Delta Victor in Reading. Hello from another KB6. You know, they aren't making many KB6s anymore, and you are Romeo Delta. I wonder if that's your original call. I'm Germany Foxtrot. So, and that was 1984. So I'm thinking if that's an original call, it might be 87, 88. And I'm just guessing. Out there in Reading, I'm not sure if the rain is going to hit, but I used to DX Reading from Fresno with my giant VHF television antenna on my tower. And it was, was it Channel 7, Channel 11, KR7R? I don't know. I used to actually be able to pick up Reading during the summer when we were having a good tropo ducting. Chrissy and Paul are in. 10 and 30 are checking in. I will do that next before we turn the page on the Old Tube Radio Network. Hello, gang up there in Idaho. I hope it is not raining too much. Okay, give the give the transmitter time to cool down. 54 checking in, Mr. Board Jammer at the top of the page. Also looking for SWL 55. SWL 56 checked in as 00, and I'm still looking for that text. Over.
Well, if you keep on looking, you might find it. 56 checked. Whoa, 56 checking in.
All right, and my hat is off to you for figuring out how to do all the texting stuff. There's probably a very thick manual for my 400 radio here that's just for APRS that may or may not have the answer on what I need to do. So I can see there's some Googling in my future. Thank you, Phil. SWL 57, who would that be? Brown Dog Audio from Central Kentucky, right there. Two World Radio 942 checking in. Last car of the year today. Last car show of the year today. A car show is very much like the old Tube Radio Network. It's old classic stuff. They look cool. They smell great. There's pointy chrome things that you can injure yourself on. And if you run them a little bit, they get hot like a radio. So hopefully you saw your favorite vehicle. So from now until spring, they're going to focus on radios. Hopefully there was what are my favorite cars? One of those 58, 59, or 60 big boat Lincoln Continentals. Hope they had one of those there. Got you checked in. And SWL 58, Jerry was listening in from Tennessee. Jerry, we were talking about you last night on the Ditch Banks sideband net, wondering if you're waiting for the high tower, you're waiting for the big tower to go up, you're trying to get all the radios that are broken set up, you're trying to get the radios that aren't broken set up, and I've got a radio, but I don't have a good antenna, but I bet I could hear Tennessee on 17 meters has been good, 15 has been slow, 20 is good, so hopefully we will catch you somewhere. But thanks for jumping in tonight. I know that it is late out there, so just a little station out there, he says. He's going to catch the big strappers from Central California on the RF side, and he's trying to register for Echolink now on his phone. So we'll see. We've got some other Echolinks we will get to you before we go to the tube radios. Thanks, Jeremy. You are looking good. SWL 59. SWL 60.
Thank you, Dennis. Evening time to the fellows out there. SWL 60 checking in.
That radio is always sounding good. I know my receiver is up to snuff when it checks in and the meters are moving. Thanks for catching us here on the old Tube Radio Network.
Thank you, Dennis.
And if you haven't already, Jeremy, check out, and you probably already know, the Mercury, what is it, the Mercury 3? The Mercury 3S? I've got my eye on that. I'm going to get my extra special 30-watt Radio Shack soldering iron. I may have a go. You just never know if you can even get them. You got to wait for a long time. SWL 61. Hello, Dino. All right, it's always worth the wait to hear 61 checking in from wherever the heck he's at and know that he actually can hear this peanut whistle station in central Fresno. Thanks for checking in.
I've heard you better tonight than I have in the last month.
I worked on it. After the disaster of last week, I made sure that all the connectors were in the right spot.
Well, you sounded good tonight, Dennis.
All right, good deal. And it's propagation. Maybe we've got some good weather. I think that's part of it. It really is, at least for my PW station, as they say. Over to SWL 62 from North Dakota. King Duckford, hello, radio. Checking in, looking good. Yeah, this is the new edition here. Off to my left. It might make its way. I see a bad SWR here. Test. All right, let me turn the knob. Let's go that way. All right. It might make its way into the big station here for Saturday nights. I don't know. But I gave it the smoke test when it first arrived about a month ago, and it failed, like in 72 hours. So obviously there was a bad malfunctioning part, and I really hadn't had hardly any transmit time on it, and at very low power. So it seems to be working well, and hopefully there aren't any other things like that. So we'll see what happens. Hope to catch you on the other bands at some point. Let's go over to SWL 63. Was Butterbean on Old Radio Night tonight? If so, let me know. I'll get him checked in. SWL 64. The only thing, Jeremy, the Mercury 3S is about like half the smoke that you want to do. But check it out. It's pretty interesting. Gets really good reviews, and looks like because it's not big and beefy and wacko, it probably will last a long time. Let's go over to SWL 65. Yeah, speaking of AM ham, King Duckford, we are waiting for the AM window to open up on 2900. I was actually on 21430 today, checking out at about 5 watts on the other radio. So I figured I'll go to that, 15-meter AM call frequency. Of course, I didn't hear anybody on what did I say? 21430 is what I meant, if I didn't say that. I didn't hear any AM stations on 21430. Let's go to SWL 66. SWL 67, Bill in Canby, Oregon, with the keys. They changed the front lock. I don't know how he did it. He changed the front lock to a skeleton key just for the month of October. So it's pretty spooky getting in the building now. Let's go over to SWL 68. SWL 69. That would be Kenny in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I haven't seen Kenny in tonight, but if you're watching on the replay, Kenny, there's your check-in, and hope all is well. We are about ready to get a major rainstorm here in the Central Valley, and we're hoping it does some good stuff. We're hoping it's not too much of a good thing. Over to SWL 70. SWL, and Mark was in last night. Maybe I'll get Mark checked in. He was in last night on the Ditchbank sideband net. And on the Wednesday net. Did I double with somebody? OTR listening. How about SWL 71? I can't double with Stan because he's over on the digital side, although he might be in his radio room checking out the propagation somewhere out there in Dallas, Georgia. I see you, Stan. You are looking good. Let's see, SWL 72. Shortwave listener 73. We've got a check-in for SWL 74. SWL 75. And James, K4KKP, up on the Echo Link. If you're listening on the stream, stand by. I'm going to try and pick up your hair before we do the page turn, see if we can get you on the Echo Link. Over to SWL 77.
Well, good evening, Dennis, and 77 on the 088. Got her good and warm and ready to be checked in, and 73 is to all the listeners, and I did make 4 contacts this morning in the Tennessee, hoping to hear Jeremy, but we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Well, you are a powerhouse here in the Central Valley. Jeremy is working to be a powerhouse in his state of Tennessee, and he's got all the right ingredients. It's just getting them all to stand in the right place and be on the shelf at the right time. And pretty much, I think he will be a fixture here on probably 38 lower and 11 when we get the nice cycle 25 as well. Sounding good, and we've got you checked in.
All righty. Tower of Power, 77.
All right, SWL 78. That's Richard in Wild Wildemar. Let me do it quickly here. See if we've got any propagation on 75. Why do I have the antenna hooked up? I don't hear a thing. There they go. Oh, you know what? You got to be on sideband to do this, don't you? Yeah. All right. I don't even hear.
I'll catch y'all tomorrow night. K7INV.
All right, so the 7s are in on 75, and no sign of any AM carriers at all. So we'll see what's happening. Over to SWL 79. Philip was in earlier. I will get Philip checked in. If you're listening, DC, we're in there. SWL 80. KB6GFD. And we'll give a shot on the Echo Link before we turn the page. And I want to check in with James, who's listening in from somewhere in Florida. Over.
We'll see if you can hear me. This is K4KKP. Good evening.
Echo Link before we turn the page. And I want to check in with. That's why we will love the delay. I deal with this at the FM radio station a lot because we have to run a 20-second delay to keep bad words from going on the air. And sometimes it gets really weird between what's actually on the air beaconing and what you're saying 20 seconds before it happens. So let's try the link again. You're sounding good, Jerry, on the Echo link. See if you can take one more transmission. Over.
Roger, let me turn you down on YouTube where I'm watching and see if that sounds a little better. This is K4KKP, James in Milton, Florida, listening in. Big fan of the show, been listening in for a good while. Just getting back into 11 meters, but definitely enjoy the show. Thank you, Dennis.
All right. Let me get in the transmitter. Very good. Yeah, a lot of us kind of left and went back or didn't leave or came back, but this is 11 meters the way a lot of people remember it with the old radios and everybody having a great time, and hopefully it can stay that way. And as many of us either are or transfer over to the ham bands as well, they go together. You know, being on the air and keying up and having a good time. So thanks, James, for stopping in, and glad you enjoy the radios on the old tube radio network, KB6GFD. And that's a good testament to our tube radio operators who spend a lot of time with and a lot of money setting up their radios, and you are appreciated. Let me tell you, there's a lot of people that listen in that either have had these radios or are, just fascinated by the way they look and how they sound, and our radio operators and collectors taking time out of their Saturday schedules, whatever they're supposed to be doing, to jump into the Radio Shack to share them is just a great thing. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we have been on this old tube radio network for so long, because we have some great people around here in the Central Valley and now everywhere else, thanks to the Universal Media Network. All right, turning the page, and I think somehow, Bob and Steve have probably managed to make life easier for a lot of us here.
27.085 OTR, channel 11.
All right, trying to find the right page here. Bob and Steve show, number 86. I forgot, there's sort of volumes and things. Number 86 in a show of many. The Jingle Singers are coming to you live from the pavilion by the pool. That is sort of by the Echo thing. I always thought it was me not connecting something, but it's because they have these big speakers They've got all the umbrellas. Have you ever sat under a 9-foot umbrella and it does that little echo thing, the parabolic, like a parabolic microphone? I think that's what's happening. If it gets cooler, they'll move in down the elevator into the green room lounge. It's getting cooler, but it's not like 50 or 45 degrees. It's still in the 60s, a light breeze, but it's going to get a lot wetter before it gets cooler. Tonight they've been at the Jim Sweeney Field, out at Jim Sweeney Field, the Bulldog Stadium. Great game. Fresno State won 34-32. I did not know that, but that's a good thing over Nevada. All right. We just got back in the limo. We had to turn on the red lights at many intersections to get through, to get in on time. You know, it really does get busy after a ball game out there on Shaw Avenue, so you've got to get out at the right time. Let's see, what else? They got the national, we got on national TV with our OTR shirts. I saw that in the back. Trying not to be too obnoxious, but at least for the people in TV, if you can see the lens, the lens can see you. So that's how you work it. That's how those people know how to get their T-shirts on the air. Much to the chagrin of the director in the control room saying, no, pan right. What else is going on? After on national TV, homecoming for Fresno State. I read about that, homecoming. They took the Costco card for the front row seats and probably bought everybody a new outfit, no doubt. Big box delivered by UPS today had 133 pool towels. You know, and I thought it was another radio. I thought it was the FT101 MP or something. It weighed like a box, and it turned out to be a box of towels. So over to the pool it went. Monogrammed OTR 33 towel had the name. Yeah, I took that, and it is ready to go. I may take a bubble bath tonight. I know, too much information, but I've got my OTR 33 towel. At the pool tonight from Dearborn, Michigan, Ford's Garage. Food, burgers, fryers, the best from Detroit, Etzel, not pretzels, Ford Original Nachos, and Fireside Shrimp. You can join us after that, as always, and don't forget to feed the fish on your old tube radio network.
27.085 OTR, channel 11.
All right, back in 30 seconds. I'm going to let things cool off, and we'll be on page 4. The tube radios are coming up on your old tube radio network. All right, I think I am back. I just stuck my head. I want to see what was going on in the pool. Still a lot of people out there. It's not as cold as it appears. But, you know, they are going to start wimping out really soon. The air smells. It smells like rain, but it's not quite raining yet. Let's try SWL 81. Steve Areno, Mr. Unicorn. If you're watching the playback, Steve, you've got the X and the square. You are checked in. Over to SWL 82.
82 checking in. Yeah, not on a good AM radio, but anyway, 82 is here, and we are checking in from the Ditch Bank of Iowa.
Okay, sounding good. I thought you might be away. Maybe all the things you were going to do got canceled, like Jerry stuff. You know, your AM radio sounds good. I want you to take a transmission, and we call it the elevator pitch.
Good evening, Dennis. Tony.
And there's Tony.
SWL 145 on Echo Link, remote from Monterey still.
All right. Okay, we'll get Tony checked in, remote from Monterey, where it's probably raining. Ron, your AM radio sounds good. In 25 words or more, there are some people that are wondering about the Ditch Bank's sideband net from far-off lands. So give them the 25 words or more pitch on where to find the Ditch Bank's sideband net. Over.
All right. Well, the Ditch Bank sideband net takes place Friday, 8 p.m. here in California, and we are on channel 36, lower sideband. And boy, with the DX rolling in, boy, who knows? You may be able to check in from whatever state you're in.
You will be. Ron has the best receiver. He's talking to people, and I think, is it ghost talking? And no, he's He's got a great receiver, a great radio, 36 lower sideband, 27 365, 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. It'll be Pacific Standard Time soon. There's a roll call. Listen in, and after the roll call, check in, get on, and have a good time on your old Tube Radio Network. Thanks, Ron. You're sounding good, and was chat with 58 tonight, who's over on the video side from Tennessee.
Roger. Yep, we kind of got in on that there. We were listening in there. All right, Dennis, thanks for tonight, and have a good one, all. 70.
All right, trying to make sure I don't blow anything up. We're page 4, directing that roll call. The radios are coming up shortly. Don't go away. Over to SWL 83. SWL 84. Let's do the ceremoniously lighting thing of the... I wonder what happened. Where did my echo will go away? Echo. All right. I thought maybe my echo would go away when I turn on the Messenger 223. Messenger 223. Take a Johnson Messenger 2, a Johnson Blackface, which is this long radio. Turn it sideways, stuff it in a case, give it a power supply, and a meter, an S meter, and a lot more crystals, and a great speaker, and there you got it. You got the 223 from E.F. Johnson. Getting Jerry and the gang checked in here. Over to SWL 85. 86, 87, and 88. Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and Snowy Owl all checked in. Over to SWL 89. SWL 9D with a check-in. Over to SWL 91. Hello, Felix. Popped right in. I looked down and I thought, wait a minute, did I miss Felix? How can that possibly be? And of course I did not. So the X in the square out there in Two-Land, in New York, where it is later than you think. It's late everywhere. Thanks, Felix. I always enjoy. I wish I had that color that I could put on the screen here. It's got that nice big green background with the white check mark. That's what I need. I need to learn how to use this stuff. Let's go over to SWL 92. SWL 93. A shortwave listener 95. SWL 96, and I got Dennis checked in earlier. He was doing some stuff and looking good. And if you're out there, Dennis, you are checked in. I saw your post. Okay, there is 95. I'm going too fast. I'm going too fast to keep up with the internet lag here. Checking in from Orlando, Florida. Heard from Florida tonight on the Echo Link. Sounding good from Florida. Don't know what the propagation is. My 40 meters is so bad. I've got noise. I bet I could hear Florida right now if I had a good antenna. We call SWL 97. Jim is checking in out there in Boston, where it was a little over 5 years ago. I was actually in Boston, enjoying weather like it's blowing through the window. It was probably about 10 degrees cooler, and we got rained on a little bit and not rained on a little bit, and it was just a nice time in mid-October in Boston. I guess there's one of the places out there near Boston does a big Halloween thing, and I remember one of the tour people or somebody that we talked to said, "Be glad you're not here 2 weeks from now because it's really, really busy. There's some place there that really does up Halloween." So you were probably carving the pumpkins. Let's see, 97 is it. Let's go to SWL 98. In Salem, all right, that's right. Think of Salem and think of witches, and we were all over a lot of places, but it's probably big everywhere. I'm getting, Tracy, if you are listening, I've got you checked in. I don't see you, but that doesn't mean you aren't around. So the X in the square for 98. SWL 99. Someone said to proxy in 99, so I will do that, Mr. Tentmaker. I was looking for Tony McClellanville, South Carolina. Tony, I don't see him in Foreland, so I'll keep an eye out for that Tony. The other Tony is in. I heard him, so we might check with him again. Over to SWL 103. Jeff checking in from Facebook. Cheesy Easy 103, you are checked in. SWL 109. SWL 110. SWL 111, Robert, who is out there hanging in. He's tougher than he was 30 years ago, waiting for the CAT scans and all the things that need to coming in. So it looks like he's getting that taken care of, and we'll be back up and running full speed when he gets the results coming up here in a couple of weeks. So thanks for checking in, Bob. Oh, also I want to say hello to 690 Northwest Illinois. I've been watching, in fact, that was probably Ellen and the gang that we talked to just a little bit a while ago. So thanks for checking in there with us tonight. Did I ask for 113? No, let's see if Tom is out there. SWL 113. SWL 114.
114, checking in.
All right, be glad you are safe and sound where it is dry. You do not want to be out and about near the Berenda Slough when we get our atmospheric river. You are sounding good, and we've got you checked in.
Thank you for the check-in, Dennis.
Next, we go up to John, SWL 128, who is live and direct tonight. No internet issues from last week. We did get you checked in, though, so thanks for visiting the Old Tube Radio Network. Let's head over to SWL 131. SWL 133. All right, Dave, you sound very good when I am on the right antenna. When I'm on the 11-meter rod that is up in the air a little bit. Looking good on OTR tonight. Thanks for checking in. Let's go to the Green Arrow, SWL 135.
SWL 135, checking in.
Sounding good. You know, that radio is warming up. I actually thinks it's sounding even better than it was an hour ago. So it just wants to be on and happy. I don't want to spill the beans, but I have a feeling we'll be hearing from that radio shortly, and it's going to be super cool. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for checking in. It's one of those. It's one of those kind of radios. SWL 137, we've got a proxy in for AJ. And now, without any further ado, we'll try it. But I heard you, Tony. I heard you come in from the remote location. Let's see if you're still out there. AJ6PD from KB6GFD on the Echo link over. Oh, gotta turn this down.
Up earlier, I was watching the wrong Old Tube Radio .net. I was watching last week's, and I got around to me on last week, and I keyed up. I apologize again for the early key up. 145 checking in, remote from Monterey on Echo Link.
Sounding good, and I chuckle because I think that is just the coolest thing. You're watching reruns. I've done the same thing. You watch reruns and you get into it and you don't realize that you're not live and direct. All right. Well, I had the Echo link turned up and we heard you check in, and now we have heard your official check in, not your chicken. There may be a chicken around there in Monterey. Your official check-in, and that's sounding good. Thanks for joining us tonight. Have a great time out there. We'll catch you when you come back. KB6GFD. SWO 147, and Tracy, I see you.
All right, thanks again, Dennis. AJ6PD, SWL 145.
Sounding good. I saw 98 coming in there, so we got him checked in. And I did see earlier on in the item here, Neil, and there he is. 147 Kakalaki checking in with nice autumn weather and no conditions. That's exactly what's going on here. Nice autumn weather and no conditions. And in about 24 hours, we'll have very bad autumn weather and probably still no conditions. We'll see what happens. Anyway, thanks for checking in. We are going to be getting rain, a lot of it. And he says, I know we need it. Yeah, we need it. So hopefully, like I said, it won't be too much of a good thing. Thanks, Neil 147 for checking in. Let's head over to SWL 188. All right, I'm going to get Bobby checked in. I think he is busy doing stuff. I know he would like to be playing radio with the Gizmochi and punching a hole in the ionosphere, but sometimes business calls. Let's go over up to Course Gold Starliner, where I will be hearing Jim well tonight, and I bet he will be hearing me because I'm on the right antenna. Hello, 195. All right, and I'm hearing you well. The microphone is a bit on the screechy side, but you are there and checked in as always. And hopefully you're not going to get too much rain up there to make things bad, but we need it. So thanks for checking in. All right, looking good. And over to Shockwave 226. I have a feeling that because of the inclement weather, that Jeff is probably not out mobiling, which would be a good thing. And we will get Shockwave checked in. Always doing a good job on the Ditchbanksnet and helping us out with the big Mariposa antenna out there, looking for all the stations. Anybody else for the Old Tube Radio Network before I skedaddle and set things up for the Tube radios? All right, and I see that, Tracy. Nobody should have a toothache. That is not a good thing. All right, back in a couple of minutes. We're going to make sure that everybody is happy over by the pool. We'll get the radio things set up. You will be getting your radios warmed up, and we'll be checking in radios, which is what we do best on your Old Tube Radio Network. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
You know, the crowd is still here. When you have a nice swimming pool and a lot of free food, the people often don't leave early, so that's a good thing. Before we get started, I'm remembering to talk to our tube sponsor tonight to populate the pocket protector, and tonight it's CBS Tubes again. I think they've bought the rest of the year. CBS Tubes from McRoy Incorporated, Wheeling, Illinois, and Chicago. BR, it actually has a BR phone number. It's BR 48600. Can you see that? No, you probably can't see it, but there it is. That's there it is. It's the and this is a nice. It's solid. It's got metal. It looks like you could. You know, they don't make. It's probably not even allowed to do this anymore. It's got this sharp point. You could definitely poke your eye out. But into the pocket protector it goes, getting us started off for the Old Tube Radio Network. I have officially somewhere, if I can find it, signed in to the Tube Radio list, and we're going to be hearing a lot less of me and a lot more of the radios. OTR standing by.
Number 735135.
45.
All right. You know what? We will take them in the order of appearance on my list as I was writing them down. The third radio this evening will be Paul, 45. You're still hearing me good. Jump over into the, or I should say you're still hearing me well. Jump over into the green room and we'll be right with you. 135, Mr. Green Arrow will be radio number 2. And jumping up into the air chair at 909. Boy. Getting a late start here, but we will make up for it with some classy radios. SWL7, hello, Mr. Ed, over.
And good evening to OTR Net Control, and of course, all the SWLs. Guest time is the Tram TR27E with the Electro Voice 638 microphone.
Grab a picture of it. There it is. We'll put it semi-full screen. Featured tonight on Old Radio Night was the radio, or probably 2 radios that came out after this, using the same S meter. It was the Tram Titan. I think he had the 2, but the Titan 2, I believe, they said, this is such a cool S meter, we're going to use it for our next radios. 1963, it was attached to this big green radio, their top-of-the-line and final issue of the TR27 series. Go ahead and take another transmission and tell us a little bit about the big green monster. Over.
There you go. Yes, it is definitely big and it is green. 5x7 speaker. Of course, you mentioned the big old S meter there, which is about 3.5 inches wide and 3 inches tall. So yeah, nothing really small about this radio. 23-channel transmit and receive.
All built into one box and a separate receive tuning, VFO-style tuning, and the 23-channel transmit, of course, which had to be crystal controlled, and there's even a spot for an external plug-in crystal on the receive, so that way you don't have to crank. You're on channel 1 and crank it back to get to channel 23, flip a switch, and if 22 was one of your favorite places to be, flip a switch will do it. I'll try to describe this here for those who are up on the video, or maybe you're at oldtuberadio.net. There is the advertisement from CB Horizons 1963 touting the Tram base station with a service tip. And this goes into, tuning the 31.5 megacycle first conversion receive oscillator coil, looking for the voltage, looking for the tube, going to pin 7. They really, I guess before the days of OSHA, when they would say, don't tell people to pull the cover off. What, are you crazy? Don't tell people to stick a screwdriver in there. Well, they did back in 1963. Have you ever stuck a screwdriver in that radio? Over.
Well, yes, I have actually stuck a few things into this radio, doing realignment and so forth, but I went by the manual and did everything it was telling me to do.
And, you know, they're straightforward. Turn the slug counterclockwise to drop the grid pin 7 voltage. So they knew the people, you know, with the screwdrivers, whether they were golden or not, could probably make their way through it. You know, there are people in Winnisquam, New Hampshire, that think highly of their radio operators, as we do here at the Old Tube Radio Network. The Tram TR27E. I will go back to the big picture that is actually, where did it go? That is actually your radio that you're talking on right now, and take another transmission. Thanks for bringing it by and getting us started on radio number 1.
Thank you very much. There's no place else that I'd rather check them in than good old OTR. With that, we'll let you get to the next person and warm up another radio.
All right, good deal. It's like starting off with big radios. There are fans of green radios that are saying thank you for that. And we will go to radio number 2. Stepping up into the air chair right now. And I'm not sure if the radio is green, but I know it's going to be old. Hello, Cliff. Over.
Oops. Slipped on the microphone there. Yes, hello, Dennis. This is Cliff, SWL 135 here, with a radio from beautiful downtown Burbank, California, and the Young Spring and Wire Corporation or company, whatever it is. This is the Gonset G11. It's got green lights on it, but it's not green all by itself, but it does have a couple of green lights on it. Back to you.
It's got some green on it. All right, I was worried I couldn't find the Gonset in the Rolodex, but I have found it, and the interesting thing, as you can see it above my shoulder there to the right side, I believe this is the one from your collection. Let me get a little bit closer. Let's get a little bit closer. Yes, the Citizens Communicator, the Gonset G11, one of the early, I want to say this might be a pre-1960 style radio, and it's still sounding pretty doggone good. Over.
Well, that's good. That's what I aim to do, try to make them at least intelligible. As pictured there, if you've got my picture there, you're probably seeing the original handheld static type ice cream cone unamplified microphone. And it has a little Gonset thing. I do have that mic, but this is not that mic. I'm using a Turner Plus 2 amplified mic to help up the audio, which is kind of weak on this thing otherwise. A tiny little box of a radio. It's a 7-inch by 7-inch by 5-inch cube, and yet somehow they managed to stick 10 tubes in there. I still don't know how they did that. That's a lot of tubes in a very tiny box. And again, as you can probably see from the picture, it's one of the only radios I know where the speaker is like the most featured thing on the face of the radio. It takes up the most real estate, there. And speaking of tubes, I would be remiss if I forgot to mention the modulation indicator is the 6M-E5, that's 6 Mike-Echo 5 Magic Eye tube, which indicates hopefully that you're modulating. Back to you.
It is definitely modulating. A nice one of the communicators, early Gonset. It's got all the stuff. It's got the Gonset little diamond logo. It is basically, Citizens Band Radio, when it first started, you needed to communicate. You needed to talk from base to Unit 1. And you needed to turn it on, you need to have a squelch, and it needs to have a channel. And maybe a way to tell that you're actually doing something. So little blinky lights and an on light, and you are good to go. Faust Gonset, Whiskey 6 Victor Romeo. He's an old-time ham, 1930s. He contributed articles about transmitter modifications to Radio Magazine. He co-edited the Radio Handbook, and he was a major competitor, or a major contributor, I should say, to the handbook. And Faust Gonset is the guy that helped start these radios. He was a ham himself, so he knew what was needed to communicate.
Hence the Citizens Communicator, eh?
Yeah, and that's just one of the many. Gonset was really good at making small-style radios, radio conversions, that you could put into your car and convert your AM broadcast listening radio and tune in 10 meters. And I have a Gonset G76, which was a mid-60s radio. That's one of the last AM-only style radios. They had the communicator. I don't know if you've got one of those, the 2 or the 3, the ones that are 10 meters, 6 meters, 2 meters with the civil defense. Looks like a yellow lunch box.
No, I don't have any of those, but I have seen them, and they're really neat. I was going to ask which one you had there. I don't remember what the 76 was. Was that the AM 2-meter radio?
They made, and they were numbered. There was a 2-meter, I believe there was a 6-meter radio, and there was probably even a 10-meter version of that. And the communicator, like the Communicator 2 or the Communicator 3, but this is the 11-meter Citizens Communicator, and I'm looking 27085. All right, it's got the right frequency. Some of them have a Canadian style where the frequency where everything is off by a couple of channels, but yours is on 11 where it needs to be.
Yeah, I thought that was neat when I got it, that it's got the very channel. Oh, and it is only one channel in the back, and I don't have a picture of that, but there's 2 holes, one for each of the 2 and only 2 crystals that are in the thing. You have 1 transmit and 1 receive crystal only. So this is the only channel. But I was going to ask if you knew, did they export these things to Canada? Because I don't know if you can see it in the picture, but it says channel 08. And then the frequency in megacycles is 27085. Now, that was channel 8 in Canada. But it was channel 11 here, so I have to assume that this was made for the Canadian market, or maybe they just stamped it on there with a rubber stamp. I'm not sure.
This question has come up, and I've never seen anybody that's got a decent answer for that, or whether we just happen to get a batch that were distributed through Canada, and they were, using that band plan. So I'm not too sure. Let me do a little bit more history, because I found the other missing page on the Rolodex, and then we'll jump out and get the next radio. But it's rare that we get any Gonset anything. Initial founder Robert Roman Gonset, born in 1891 in the Ukraine, Russia. He immigrated to Eastern Canada, in 1907. The family moved to California in 1916 and established the Gonset Company in Burbank. So there's some ties to not only the Ukraine, but to Canada. Robert's son, Faust R. Robert Gonset, was born in 1916. He was an early ham radio operator with the call sign W6 Delta India Zulu. He established the Gonset Waterproof Electric Company with his son, and the company supplied electrical equipment to the United States Navy during World War II and to the United States government after the war. In the 1930s, he contributed articles about the transmitter modification to Radio Magazine. Robert Sr. died in 1951, and in 1958, the Gonset Company was sold to Young, Spring, and Wire Corporation, hence your citing of that on the radio. Faust Gonset became the president and majority owner of Minitron, Incorporated, for a brief period in 1960. In 1963, Faust Gonset started the company Sideband Engineers. Anybody have an SBE an old SBE-style radio sideband engineers. In 2006, Faust was among the inaugural group of 50 inductees into the CQ Hall of Fame. And Faust's son, Robert F. Gonset, born in 1947, became W6QQQ, living in Fallbrook, California, and is the present holder of the famous W6VR call sign. So a lot of history there. So Young Spring and Wire company, I guess, keeping the Gonset name living on. And thanks to our radio operator, Mr. Cliff, here in 2021, we get a little history from the Gonset G11 radio. There were a couple other G series style radios, but this is the first one for 11 meter Class D.
Yeah, the first one that I knew of anyway. It is in Sam's number 1. For anybody who's got Sam's, the first issue of the Sam's, it's in there with some other reasonably famous early CB radios. Let's see, that's it for the Gonset G11 Citizens Communicator. And as a citizen, I am communicating. Hey, what do you know? Thanks for letting me check it in, and we'll see you next time.
All right, thanks for bringing it by. Early radio, the first radios that came out in 58 and 59 looked a lot like this. The Johnson Messenger, Loaf of Bread radio, the VS series from General Radio Telephone, the Gonset, some of the town and country radios are a little more fancy. And, of course, Browning jumped in, and even they didn't even have 23-channel radios at that time. Speaking of Canada, I want to say hello to Albert and the gang up there in BC tonight. In the balcony, as always, having the popcorn and sodas for the show. I will be up there after the show. I want some popcorn. Where is Popcorn 13 tonight? Maybe he's up there in the balcony. Also, SWL 13, I will get you checked in. Mike is in, Mr. Cobra, so I will get that going. And a very patient station up there in North Fork tonight where, Paul, I probably don't think it's raining yet, and I hope the conditions are still good. Hello, Falcon.
Yes, amazing conditions. I like to check it by range gain, Roman 2.
All right, the range gain 2. And who was it? I think it was Jimmy last week that said he really thinks the range gain, if it's tuned up well, gives the Regency or Imperial a run for its money, not only on transmit and receive. But they are very, very similar radios when you look inside. It's just the range gain and the range gain 2 do not have the ability to do the double sideband. I found a picture. It doesn't say it's from your collection, but it is the Regency range gain, and back to you for transmission.
Yes, it is. Just like the Imperial. It doesn't have that pretty front of the thing like the Imperial had. But the material was made a couple of years after this one was made. So there wasn't much of a change on the inside, but I think they did quite a bit more on the Imperial to make it better. That's possible. Anyway, it has a normal control on the thing, and I tell you, how you tune this thing up, you have to tune it no higher than 2.6 watt bed key. That's the way the thing works the best, and it does have some great modulation. Swing the meter. I hope you can see it on the meter there. So, back to you.
Yeah, it's the double sideband suppressed carrier. Yeah, you can go. There's a screw on. I think it's on the right side. You can go in there and crank the carrier up to probably about 5 or 6 watts, but the audio suffers severely. It goes way down, and you don't get the intent of the radio, which was the forward modulation, the powerful 6B25 push-pull audio thing going on. There's the final knob. It's you can tune the radio once you have it tuned internally for that 2.5 unmodulated carrier. Then you can dip your final current and get the thing up and running. You can even run it at 100 milliwatts if you turn everything down. Yeah, it looks like the Imperial was really a dressed-up version of the Regency 2 with the gold front and the nice, bigger knobs. But, you know, you basically got a Regency Imperial there without the sideband. Audio is good. No need to change a thing. And does it still have, when you key up Or is it key down? But when you key up the radio, I believe if it's working on the S meter, the meter turns red. The light goes red. Over.
Yes. We have that meter up there. Actually a large meter. Well, large, not really. But it's very good size reader. You can read it okay, even from a little distance where I'm at right here. Anyway, I'm talking on the microphone this thing. It's a regular Regency microphone made by Shure Brothers. So it's a little different than the way I talk on the Imperial. That microphone was made by Turner, so apparently they switched around with microphones a little different. That's nothing new, like General. Thanks for sending it, Dennis. 37.
Yeah, 37, we got you. You will be next. Before you go, Paul, take another transmission. I want to check the crystal frequency. The big problem with or one of the problems, I should say, with my Regency Imperial is the crystals were all way off. So you sound pretty good, but I just want to see how far off you might be, and then check that out. So take another transmission. Over.
Well, according to I'm pretty off frequency on this thing, and the same way on my Imperial, it was pretty close on frequency. So I hope it matches your respect to you.
You are correct. You're like at 84.8, so very close. In fact, I go to the sideband. You're right there. The sideband audio is strong, which it will be on that radio because you've got the suppressed carrier. Radio number 3 from Regency, and I want to say this is 65 to 66. 1965, the range gain 2, original price for this AM double sideband reduced carrier. Not a double sideband transmit radio, but double sideband reduced carrier was around $235, but it was a full 23-channel radio. It was their top of the line for Regency S meter, and you can find out more about it within Sam's Photo Fax 13, page 135. Thank you, Paul.
You're very welcome. The increase on the radios on Regency went up about $30, but pretty close. All right, thank you, Dennis.
Yeah, the Imperial was close to $300 for sure. Jingle singers would like to do what they do best, and as they are telling us about the Saturday night place to be, Mr. Go Boy Chris will be jumping into the air chair back in about 20 seconds.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. Your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
Hope the station for you is OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network, something that has been going on this frequency, this channel 11, for well over 35 years, where people stop by for a couple of hours on Saturday evening here in the Central Valley of California to, like one of our listeners said, an auto show, except it's radios, the fins and the chrome and the aroma of the glowing tubes as we bring them, drive them around your block and check them out. Maybe you remember some of them. Maybe you owned it. Some of them still do get on the air. Maybe you've never even heard of a tube radio. This is the way a radio sounded. This is the way the Citizen Band radio sounded back in 1965 when those radios were brand new. Hello, Chris. I see you in the air chair. Over.
Well, you got better eyes than I do. You see me all that way. Hi, Dennis. I want to check in my general radio telephone, my Super MC11A. This is the 24-channel version of all that. And, of course, you got the little old man in the wheelchair up there with his IV walking by, and we're running this here with the original handheld stock microphone. Over.
Original microphone is always a good choice for that radio because it has such great audio, and I'm thinking that even if you had something amplified, you'd have to turn it way down. There is a shot of a Super MC11A for those on YouTube or looking at oldtuberadio.net. If you don't have the picture, it's a nice... Would you say that is gold? Would you say it's copper? Would you say it's brass? What is the front of that Super MC11A? Over.
I would have to go with the gold-looking color, you know. It's dingy looking, but I would say the gold. I don't think it's the copper or brass. Yeah, it'd be the gold, like faded, whatever, something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's got the green 23-channel dial. At this time, you have a 23-channel crystal control, both transmit and receive, and the full complement of knobs between a distance and local switch, pretty much a switchable RF gain control. Radio and the Bullhorn. The Bullhorn replaced the Q-Bird of the MC5. So there's probably an output on the back for the external speaker or something for that amplified audio out of the Bullhorn. A&L in and out to keep those Volkswagen bugs from making static on your radio, and tone control as well, plus a variable tune on the receive, plus or minus. Hopefully I'm right in the center on that plus and minus.
Bring it back, let me check.
All right, and it could be an adjustment, but I should be 6-7, radio, orange furniture, sizzling sausage. If you turn it to either side, it may not make a difference. It may only shift you 1.5 kCE's way, but probably straight up and down is where it should be.
Well, you know, it's almost straight up and down, but it's just a little bit tad to the left side of it. See where the black mark is there? It's just a little bit past the edge of that black mark where the center part is.
Doing good. That is just for receive only, doesn't affect the transmit. Got to be crystal controlled. As always, one of our show favorites, if you will. It's radio number 4 tonight. I'll log it in at 9:29 when we started. It's working well into the 21st century.
Oh, well, good. Oh, and I had to add, I had a gentleman get a hold of me from up in Canada. Yesterday, Thursday or Friday, when the skip was in, I talked to him, and I was talking elsewhere, and this guy kept hollering for Fresno. Finally, I went back to him, and he goes, "Is your name Chris?" I go, "Yes, it is." "SWL 37? I go, "Yes, it is." "Who's this?" He told me where he was at. He's up in Canada. He said he listens to us all the time, so I'm giving him a big shout out there to Canada. And one of the guys down there in Pensacola, Florida, I talked to him this week again also. So, hey, hats off to you guys up there for listening. Thank you.
And we enjoy the radios, and we're glad that others enjoy it too. Ellen 690 out of Northwest Illinois also been watching for a long time and says it's talked to Chris on 37, or I rather talked to 37 on 38. There you go, on 11 meters. So keep it up. We're glad that we have listeners, and we really hope that other people get on the air like we do, whether it's an old radio night or a radio night. Just get on the air, have a good time, and that's what we did, right? In 1965, when Jackie Gleason and Red Skelton and Carol Burnett signed off, we would go into the room that had the radio and do our thing. And there wasn't a phone to pick up, or a YouTube to turn on, or a Facebook to scroll around on. It was good old chatting on the two-way. And you know what? You never got a bill. You never get a bill at the end of the month for talking on the two-way radio. So that's a good thing. Chris, take another transmission. Thanks for bringing by the radio.
Oh, yeah, Dennis, thank you for being there. And thank you guys out there in that good old, whatever state you're in, if you're listening. God bless you guys. Keep it up listening to us. It just gets us wanting to throw more stuff out there for you guys to listen to. SWL 37, we're clear, Dennis. Thank you.
All right, thanks for tuning in. The Old Tube Radio Network.
45.
And yeah, this is King Duckford. This is our version of the old radio shows. I get not quite as creepy as some of the ones that might have been on in the 40s and 50s. Maybe as entertaining, perhaps, as Jack Benny. I don't know, but the Old Tube Radio Network here on 27085, down the road from 780 AM. I'll have to see if the radio can pick up 780. Hey, Paul, I hear you. Would you like to be Radio 5 at 936 over?
Okay. It's by ICO Centennial 23.
All right, let me find EICO in the Rolodex. Who taught me that one? It was Phil. 36, Electronic Instruments Corporation, or Electronic Instrument Company, EICO. And take another transmission and give me the model number again. Over.
Okay, it's a ICO Centennial 23.
Okay, because I have a couple. I've got the 12. I've got the Pro. Oh, wait a minute. Flipping through the cards here, and we have a winner. This looks familiar. I'm going to put it up on the big screen here. It looks familiar, and Mitch is probably saying, "Oh, I know that. That is that Panasonic chassis." It certainly looks like it. Anyway, take a transmission. It's this a cool-looking radio.
Yeah, okay, that's my radio. What I'm talking about right now. This radio is not listed as stands at all. Yeah, it has very little information on it. It's roughly about number 9, and Sam's book, I think, is number 9. But it's not listed exactly. So I don't know what to do. If anything's changing it, I have no schematic or nothing on it. Anyway, but it's looking good now. So I'm running much like an M+2U Turner on the thing, but it doesn't have any marks on this microphone, but it came with a radio, so I presume it was made for the radio. Anyway, I hope so. Thank you.
Sounds good. Good signal. Good audio. I like the fact you've got it on channel 11. This was a full-featured radio, all 23 channels, S-meter. Even had the, looks like the variable tune control, headphones in the front, microphone in the front, CBPA. I think just about every CB at some point, they said, we've got that, couple watt audio amplifier in there for the audio. Let's just send it out the back, and if you've got it in the car, then you'll have a PA for something. Let's see. Do we have any other information? It is 10 tubes. So yeah, it might be one of the Panasonic chassis. It was. Let's see. What are the audio? It's all 6-volt tubes except for 12 BE6 in the receive current. 6AQ5 on the output. So doing well. Take another transmission. I'll put the S-meter up. We'll see where we're at on this thing.
You're probably pretty close to this. This thing has an all-conference chassis on the thing. Beautiful inside, open it up. Really nice looking. Well-made radio, and I was thinking yes, it was made, but I can't say it is. Where it was made at. I think it's probably made in Japan. But anyway, thanks for checking it in, Dennis.
Yeah, it might be one of the first Panasonic chassis. It has sort of that layout that was similar to, I think it was the Americana. But I don't want to go out on a limb and say for sure. But it is a classic style radio, sort of the in-between of the utility radio look and the modern radio look and the furniture radio look, because it doesn't have the wood case, but it would play well in the shop and would probably play well on the doily in the living room next to the color RCA console television. Radio number 5, ICO Sentinel 23. Sounding good tonight. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, thank you. Boy, it's nice tonight. It's beautiful. nice to talk on the radio like this. Thanks, Dennis.
Yeah, like I said, I'm hoping the rain will clear out some of the dust and the noise, and it's really nice me being on the proper antenna, so that I can actually hear and be heard. And Dwayne, I mentioned earlier about you don't get a bill for your CB radio like you do with your internet service provider. But see, Dwayne goes back in the day, back when we all shuddered, in the 60s and in the 70s, when someone whispered, "I think I see the Uncle Charlie van out there," and we would all either turn our radios off, or we would we would try and find, it's like, okay, where's my license? What's my call letters again? And we would start, going on channel 11 and 12 or whatever it was that you could talk intra call letter and use our call letter for a day or two. But Dwayne is right that had you not been so astute in noticing that the van, the FCC van was parked around the corner from your house, you would receive a bill. Usually in the form of a pink slip, and anywhere from, $50 $200 from everything from idle chit-chat to not identifying properly your call sign, your antenna's too high, too much power, and on and on. Little things like that. And they do a sweep in an area, and they might get to maybe 15 or 20 stations for violations at, I don't know, an average of $50 a piece. So maybe that was a good day for the FCC van. Not so now. You really have to be doing something bad, and if you get a fine today, it will not be $50. That's for sure. The Old Tube Radio Network, and we are looking for Radio 6.
60.
Number 7.
All right, 60. We're logging you in as Radio 6. Step up to the air chair, and Ed, you will be. How about that? Radio number 7. So stand by. Hello, Joe.
Dennis, like to check in my Hustler base with a +3 from World Radio Labs, 7 tubes.
7? Does it only have 7 tubes? World Radio? Oh no! You know what? I think I lost. I'm looking. I think I lost the really great picture I had, or the proper picture I had of the Hustler / Rustler, so I may have to see if I can find that again. But in the meantime, go ahead and take a transmission, because this radio always performs super well without even having to stand on your head. Like, who was it that used to stand on his head to make you a deal? Mac Lazarus, go ahead.
Oh boy, that goes way back there. Yes, my blinking light tells me that we're operating. We are... The radios are well warmed up. I've had it on for the past hour. And Dennis, yeah, doggone it, we're on a +3, a Turner +3 microphone on this Hustler base, 7 tubes. Doggone it, we wanted to get a chance to get this one checked in, because we have a few others, and I know time is kind of flying, and we don't want to get caught up on it. But as the blinking light tells me, we're transmitting.
It's a beautiful radio. Confirm for me that is a blue radio.
Yeah, she's blue, okay. The microphone is gray. It does have some blue where it says Turner, but the face of the radio is blue. And the darker part of the blue is the case itself. And I do have the mounting bracket with it.
I can see the mounting lugs on the side. This doesn't show the bracket, but it shows the squelch, the volume, the spotter switch. Hustler even has an S-meter. Even has the vertical style S-meter of the day. And just super smooth. Just not an effortless key up. Or is that key down? Anyway, sounding good on the Old Tube Radio Network, and it does have tuning control. So you got to make sure that the tuning knob is somewhere near channel 11 to hear me, Ryan.
Yeah, doggone it. In fact, it's there. It's there. We did a little bit of tuning, a little bit to the left and to the right there, and the meter is in vertical position, so it's kind of neat. It reminds me of maybe talking on an old Royce radio, the old mobile types. But doggone it, tunable receive, 8 channels, does have a slot for an extra crystal, and I think I have channel 1 on it, and the squelch, and the spotter, of course, which I've got to spend some time on, see how that operates, and your volume, of course. But other than that, that's about it. It has the mounting bracket for the microphone. Your plug-in there is in the front. Harvey put that on the front for me because the cord did come from the back.
And it looks like, because this is showing the original wired microphonium as well. And super cool that it has the World Radio Labs sort of circular world logo. It's, what is it, the Mercator projection? I don't remember what that's called, but it looks like the world map and the WRL. Looking good. Take one more transmission, see if you can make the meter move, the lights light, and we are proud to log it in as Radio 6 tonight.
Well, appreciate it, Dennis. Yeah, doggone it, we do have a little bit of swing. Monkey swings a little bit, but the light is really flashing. Appreciate it, Dennis. I'll get another one warmed up.
And we will be here to check it in, no doubt, on the Old Tube Radio Network. The World Radio Labs, the Hustler, sometimes known as the Rustler, but at least when the Hustler checks it in and he's on the Hustler, it will be the Hustler. The Old Tube Radio Network they're not ready. I was going to go to the Jingle Singers, and they're not ready, so they lose out because we got a cool radio coming up. Hello, Mr. Ed.
And hello, Dennis. This one is the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB with the Golden Eagle D104.
And with the super cool Golden Eagle audio. Let me find the regular picture here that has not only the aforementioned radio, but the microphonium as well off to the side. Two-piece radio for those who may be new to watching, a transmitter and a receiver. A transceiver being the one-piece radio with the transmitter and the receiver in the same box. This is very old school. The early ham radio operators had to do that. They had a receiver, and then they would pair it with a transmitter, and then you had to figure out a way to switch between the two, whether it was manually with knife switches and Dow key relays and everything else, or what Browning did and make all that inside, the relays inside with automatic relay switching and key up, albeit the transmitter keys up a little bit before the receiver goes away, as demonstrated by this.
And there's a nice little tiny ping. Just that the small one, don't like the real long one to keep in there, just because it's kind of annoying.
Well, I guess that's in the ear of the beholder, but maybe after a 50-minute conversation, that could be true. Certainly not annoying, and never annoying on the Old Tube Radio Network, our tube radio operators and whatever they bring by. This is the big one. This is the one that those of us who were around in the 60s and the 70s and may have not had, one of those great jobs that paid more than $1.90 an hour, thinking, how are we going to get $700 to buy this radio?
Yes, the very first one of these I saw had a D104 attached to it, but not the golden one. And unfortunately, us kids could not touch the radio at all. So now I have one of my own, and I can touch it anytime I want.
Absolutely. I'll tell my quick story about my hopes to get the Browning Mark III. I believe it was 1972. That's probably the first year, one of the first years they came out after the Mark II train. And there was a Bakersfield CB Jamboree. Remember the big CB Jamborees? This was in Bakersfield, where they gave away prizes and people came from far off. One of the prizes was a Browning Golden Eagle Mark III. And I was living at home, of course, in Southern California, Los Angeles area at the time. And somehow I convinced my dad that, yes, I would like to borrow the station wagon and drive. You're going to drive where? And take the 2-hour drive to Bakersfield all by myself. High school student that I was. And win myself a Browning Golden Eagle. And I don't even remember what it cost to get in. So, of course, it's like, okay, well, you're also paying for the gas, too. So up and back, and I don't think there was anything. I don't think there was anything in the back of that big station wagon when I returned.
Too bad. Of course, gas wasn't quite as expensive back then. It was only about, 50 cents a gallon? So, yeah, not like it is today.
Yeah, I bet it might have been even cheaper than that. But anyway, it was a fun time. And they had another couple of big radios for whatever the raffle ticket prices were. And I'm sure I probably had all of $5 in my pocket to buy raffle tickets. But there you go. Sometimes you just have to wait for good things to happen. The Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB, the Golden Eagle microphonium included back to you for transmission. A very good Radio 7 listing tonight.
Thank you very much, Dennis. And with that, we'll listen for some more old tube radios.
Yeah, I think we've got one on the line now. Hello, Harvey.
You can hear this thing. Okay, Paul is still listening. I'll have to put the modulator on. But this is a radio I picked up a number of years ago. It's the Acton 18CON from, I have to put the light on the front of the radio because of the way they painted this thing. From Acton Laboratories in Acton, Massachusetts.
All right, I can hear you. I have a feeling that Paul is definitely not hearing you. And is that Alpha Victor Com, Avcom, over?
No. Here we go. Okay, it's Acton, ACTON from Acton, ACTON, Massachusetts.
Okay, I'm looking through the Rolodex, and I have a feeling that is not showing up anywhere. But tell us more, and you are actually sounding a bit better to all of us now, over.
Okay, let's see. I don't want to feed that. Okay. Might have the hum, but maybe not the feedback. Okay, 11 tube, 6-channel transmit receive crystal, and volume and squelch, and a very, very good on-off noise limiter, little pilot light above the mic plug, and it's got a 4-inch mic plug, and it's got the carbon microphone.
Gotta love the carbon microphones. That's an old school thing, you know, back like the heavy telephones. Spell that name of the radio again for me, and it sounds good. You know, it's handling the range boost well. There is no humming, there is no buzzing, there is no squealing. It just did what it's supposed to do and get louder. So spell the name of that radio again, over.
Alpha Charlie Tango Oscar November from Massachusetts.
Okay, I had it right because I am coming up with a big nothing and trying to find anything, any information about said radio item of interest. So it must be very rare.
Well, it should be. It says on the top, Citizens Band transceiver, type TVC Tango Charlie Victor -271. That's painted on, and then stamped in it after the 1 says -3. Then Acton Laboratories Inc., Acton, Massachusetts, USA, subsidiary of Technology Instruments Corporation, or Corp. Then the speaker is on the right, got a round speaker grill. In the center of it is kind of a metal meatball type thing. And on there in funny looking script, or block letters actually, it says ALI, for I guess Acton Laboratories Inc. On the left top, it's got a call letter rectangular area below its unit number. Then it has noise limiter, on-off switch, to the right volume, then to the right of that squelch. In the center, the 6-channel switch, A, B, C, D, E, F, and they are stamped into the metal. Above the mic plug, it says mic, M,
All right. Well, maybe it was Mike's radio. I'm coming up with the big nothing on finding that anywhere. So I wonder if it was. You mentioned a company that had it affiliated with. I wonder if it's one of those ones like they did for Spiegel Catalog or Sears or something, where they took somebody else's radio, and the company said, "Yeah, let's do this. Let's do CB radios." And they said, "No." Or maybe it was a prize. Maybe it was the first prize, at their company picnic or something. And you said that this has been sitting on your shelf, been gracing your shelves for some time. Over.
Well, actually, it's been in a box for several years. It's painted crinkle white. On the top of the cabinet, there's a handle. It's one of those vinyl type handles that's flat until you reach under and pull up, and then each end kind of slides out of a little metal bracket. That still works. It's in very good shape. The whole radio's in good shape. It's 11 tubes, and I don't think any transistors. I may have checked the tube, but I need to go through all the capacitors, etc., etc. The mic cord and mic are original. The mic cord's almost falling apart. I'm going to have to change it. But this also has the 12X4 rectifier tube. If I put diodes in there, instead of doing about 3 watts to 5.5, it'll probably do 2.5, 3, going to who knows where. But right now with the tube, it doesn't do too bad.
It doesn't do too bad. The audio isn't bad. You just don't want to overdrive it because it sounds like it will flat top a little bit. I checked Acton, Massachusetts. There are no CB shops, but there's one in Littleton and one in Manchester and one in West Bridgewater. Good old Lou out there at Lou's CB Sale and Service. Maybe they know something about that radio. Very interesting. I wonder, once you find the number of tubes, sometimes that could be a giveaway. It's like a 7-tube or an 8-tube, and it has that handle like it's a Heathkit clone or, some other clone. Very interesting. All right, well, we will have to get a photo of that up somewhere, so the next time it shows up, I'll be able to get a bird's eye view of what's going on, although you did a good job. So this is a new one for me. I'm writing the Acton, A-C-T-O-N, for radio number 8, and I believe in the 35 years we were doing this, is probably the first time we have done that.
Well, probably. Now, it's brushed aluminum front. The speaker grill is painted white, but everything is brushed aluminum in the kind of on the front, and they painted the letters and descriptions of the controls and such in white. Very hard to see unless you're looking straight at it, and you better have the light aimed just right. I tried to take some pictures, and it's very difficult to do that and get the whole front to come out. So I'll have to figure that out. But it's a nice radio. I've got one more to check in. Trying to think there's something else about this. Oh, on the internet, when I typed in Acton, Laboratories, whatever, and the model number, I didn't get the 271. I got the 273. Which looks like this, with 1 or 2 more lights, maybe another control knob. The mic plugs in the same spot, but it had a meter on it. And the description says this may be a prototype we don't think it ever was sold. So maybe they got rid of the meter, and this is the one that got sold. Or the 273 did get sold. I just can't find one. Found this, though.
Interesting. All right. Well, it's a regular radio. Last week you had the intercom radio, but this one seems like it's a bit more than that. And that could be a possibility, something that, you know, it's like early automobiles. You go back to the 1920s, 1930s, there's all these automobile companies, all these things. Yeah, let's build a car. And it's like, well, it's a little more work than we wanted. And soon you have 3 or 4 auto manufacturers. Radios were like that. It's like, okay, I'll build one and you build one and we'll take one and we'll borrow your stuff. And it's like, forget it. But the Acton doing well. So yeah, we'll grab a photo and see if we can't get some more information on that as well. ACTON. Anybody ever have that? Anybody from Acton that might know where that radio was? Maybe you saw it right into school in the window of the place. I don't know. Okay, Harvey, you are sounding good. It's holding up well. I checked frequency. It's in good shape. It's right on frequency. If I go to sideband, you are right there. So it's ready to go. Maybe the first time it's ever been used.
That probably has. And I showed right there on frequency. There is a little trim cap underneath the trim frequency. Originally was 52, and I lowered it to 50. And there we are. Okay, I got one more, and then I'll talk about quickly the D104.
All right, I know there's some others that want to check in here as well. So let me stop talking. I want to say hello to, who is it? Somebody in Oregon. Somebody in Oregon is listening. Of course, Bill and Canby and the station saying the first time or what? Yeah, this is the Old Tube Radio Network. Believe it or not, we have been doing this, maybe not on the video and not on the streaming audio, but we have been gathering on this channel for 35 years, back when these radios were a lot newer than they are now. But they're still functioning, and we have a good time shooting them through. All right, let me stop talking. Who else wants to check in before we sign out? Maybe the jingle singers want to do something. Yeah.
You're listening in the latest style.
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
Listening for radio number 9.
N47.
Yeah, we could do that one. In fact, let's do that one. Which Browning? I do have to ask, because that is my job here as a net controller. Which Browning might we be listening to over?
Okay, well, this one. But let Mike go first, because I want to talk about the D104 thing. So let Mike go first.
Okay, Harvey is anticipating an old buzzard YAM transmission, and there's not a problem with that. So, Michael, you are Radio 9. Step up to the air chair if you indeed have a radio, and I did get you checked in, so I think that you do, somewhere in the CB Radio Lounge, and take a transmission over.
Well, I'm almost speechless. I'm not stepping in front of SWL 20. I didn't mean to do that. I'm horrifically sorry. This feels uncomfortable. But since I'm already keyed up, how about a Robin 123 from the Radio Lounge with the Magic Eye tube, and there it is. It's not going to be nearly as interesting as the next radio that's checked in, but there it is.
Well, we've had an Old Tube Radio Magic Eye style check-in earlier in the form of the Gonset. with the round tube, and now this is the side view of the, was it 6RE13? One of the other Magic Eye tubes, apropos for any evening, and it sounds good. So you are Radio 9. Give us another transmission. And does the Robin... Some people were discussing Robin radios earlier, and I think they were probably talking about the model after this, the T123B, which is the Panasonic chassis. But when you have your 123 on for a modicum amount of time, do you notice that it runs quite warm over?
No, not this one. My 123B is in Bravo. That sucker definitely gets hot. This one, it does not. Sometimes I leave this thing during the weekends. I leave it on all day long, and now it's never uncomfortable. The 123B, yeah, you could probably do some pancakes on the top of that thing.
Yeah, or get the heavy-duty aluminum foil and cook dinner. All right, for those of you who don't want a hot radio, I should say, a radio that runs hot, but you want a Robin, here's a good choice, the T123 chassis. It also sounds, as you can well hear, it also sounds quite nice transmitting on channel 11. Make that Magic Eye wink and blink one more time, and then we will hear the story of the D104.
Well, I'm going to leave it at that because I want to hear the story of the D104. So thanks for letting me check it in, and here we go, story time. I like this. I'm going to cuddle up in a blanket and get some Ovaltine for story time.
All right, well, yeah, good old story time. Someone mentioned earlier that they were listening to sort of an old radio story on, was it 780 kilocycles?
And that our form of government now seems to
See,
be
that's
mostly
780.
hot, and that bothers me a lot. But I'm also an anthropologist.
That's what's on 780 right now. Kind of boring it sounds. So if you're trying to find old radio on your AM radio, don't do that. Come up here to 27085 and maybe the story of the D104. Hello, Harvey.
Okay, how bad am I humming?
It sounds very good. It's actually listenable. It's very listenable. Over.
Okay, I'll back off the mic. Okay. I do eBay stuff, as people know. I mean, I'll find this or find that on eBay. But I just don't grab anything. I don't have a ton of money, so, to buy up this, that, and the other. But I watch a lot. And I imagine other people do too. And a lot of people have Brownings. Well, there's this one guy that sells stuff back east, and he sells them for an outrageous price. They call it the yellow table.
Yes, the yellow table.
Places all his stuff on this yellow table. Anyway, he's been trying to sell, which he may have, a unamplified D104 similar to the one I'm talking on, gray bass, unamplified, should have a straight chord on it like this, with the Browning medallion on the back of the head of the D104, which is a very thin piece of aluminum. If it is aluminum, it is some sort of metal. And the Browning Laboratories logo is on the back of it. Also, a young lady, I think, is selling decals. One that's too light in color, another one that's the right color, because I sent her a message saying you got the wrong color. Anyway, and I showed her the right color. But anyway, that's what it looks like. He's been trying to sell this thing for, I think, a couple years for $250, I believe, was the price. It's no longer listed on there because I checked it about an hour ago. But recently, there was a D104 for sale on eBay, gray bass, straight chord. So since it had a straight chord, I wanted to check it out, because that meant it was probably an older one. And in one of the pictures, believe it or not, he showed the back, and it had the Browning logo on it, the medallion. And he didn't list that in his description, so possibly a lot of people missed it. But it was there for anyone to see if they looked at all the pictures. The opening bid, and there was no buy it now, was $29.99. And so, hey, I'm not rich, but it's not $250. The medallion did have a small scratch on it, but not in bad shape at all. The mic head and chrome was all good. All the screws were still chrome front and back. So even if the mic itself didn't work, cartridge being bad, you still had the logo thing on the back. But I watched it, and hardly anybody was bidding on it. The highest bid was $40.88. So I waited to the end and I bid on it, and it arrived 2 days ago. The head on the microphone works as good as this one. I tested it today with Cliff, and he couldn't tell the difference between this head and the head on the other one. So I got a very good mic. I got it with the logo on it, and I hardly had to pay a thing, just simply because a lot of people just did not watch it or look at all the pictures. There are a lot of people that like Browning items, and they go get them. And I was really surprised that I got this one. But for those people who think about, well, maybe I'll look for something on eBay, look for it. You may get lucky also.
All right, good story. And I was saying earlier, it's like I haven't done it in forever, just kind of for that reason. But it doesn't, what's the old saying? It doesn't hurt to look. Doesn't hurt to look if you know what you're looking for. And it certainly doesn't hurt to look if you know what you're looking for and you actually find it. And it seems to be, gosh, this is a good price. Now, you said it had the an earlier not coiled cord. Or did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I apologize. It had a coiled cord on it. But what it also had on the front, which I forgot to mention, was in place of the G-stand tag that's on the center, front, bottom of the stand, they'd either put another tag over it or taken it off and put this tag on. It's a silver with a black surround, tag that says Mark 4A, which also caught my eye. So I looked at that, and the coiled cord had a Mark 4/4A mic plug on it. Oh, so somebody had used that mic on a 4 or 4A probably, because they put that tag on it. Don't know where the radio is or anything. This guy was just selling the microphone. So, it doesn't have the straight cord. But if you look for an older D104, possibly one with a logo, etc., or just an older one, to have an older one, the straight cords were the ones that were put on the older mics. The older mic stands have a riveted-on metal tag. The older mic kits have a riveted-on tag on the top before they stopped doing that and put the stick-on ones on. Those are all the older mic kits and bases. I have found a couple of those, and in fact, on the Browning Compact R2700A, that's the mic that's on there. one with a riveted base and a riveted head, kind of so it goes kind of with the age of the radio. But they put a different cord on. In fact, it's a real new cord. I'm going to change it to a straight mic cord. I've got one or two around here somewhere, and I might run it on a Mark IVA, even though it's not a Gold D104. It still says Mark IVA on it, so why not?
I agree. Why not? Especially if you get something like that. D104s are getting harder to find. I think, let's see, the Fresno Amateur Radio Club is having their November swap meet. I don't have the exact date. It'll probably be after 2 weeks from now, so we can promote it next week. But there's a place where you might find some of the old hams or pulling out the old dusty boxes, and you'll find a D104 with a straight cord on it that somebody is selling out of the parts, out of the I don't use it box. So we will see. All right, D104 just arrived. Oh, and it did arrive in good shape, right?
Excellent shape. Since the mic plug wasn't compatible with this radio, I took the head off, plugged it onto this one. I told Cliff, hey, I'm going to test both. And he goes, okay, so we're testing his radio, and I talked to him initially on the new head, and I kind of think he thought I'd be on this head, which is the original. The other head is on the mic and on the shelf. So I didn't say a word to him until the end and said, by the way, I'm on the new head. And he goes, oh. And then I put the original head on, going back and forth, and he said he could not tell the difference. I could see a slight difference in the meter, but just barely. It's just a dinky bit less responsive than this one, but so minuscule, and I wanted to use that word, by the way, that's why, I'm talking about it, that Cliff couldn't tell. Anyway, so everything turned out A-okay. Also, since I just bought it and it just arrived, if anybody goes to eBay, static D104 microphones, recently sold or completed listings, look for a gray base, coil cord, selling for $41.88 plus the shipping. And guess what? It came from California. Shipping was $11. So anyway, then you get to see what the mic looked like and all the pictures that I saw. And I'm so surprised that nobody kind of went for it other than myself and about 3 others. Because it has the logo. I mean, there are people with them, but I think there are enough people that do not have this particular mic head that, with the starting price so low, there should have been more bidders. And of course, you can take the head off, put it on an amplified mic if you want it. Oh, and if somebody even wanted to, which I doubt, these things do pop off easy without damage. You stick it on a gold mic. Of course, you're covering up the eagle, but you could even do that.
All right, words of wisdom from the eBay seller. Got many items, and was it John listening said sometimes, and I've done this before, where it's YAESU, and they list it YEASU, and you find something that's in that category misfiled, and no one is bidding on it because they're typing in the correct stuff. Who needs 75 meters and an old Buzzard YAM transmission when we have Harvey at the key? Thank you for the story of the D104. And not only have you lived to tell about it, but we'll actually be able to listen to that D104 on future episodes of what's going on the west side. Any other thing before we go, Harvey? And there may be one more radio I want to check in before we get out of here, because it is late all over. Back to you.
Okay. Nothing else about that. And eventually, when it's going to be time to let loose of the radios, the mic will go with the radios. The only mic I may keep is the Gold D104 my wife bought me for my birthday back in 1970-something. So that one has never been used, by the way. Still under glass with a chamois, and I shine it a couple of times a year. And no battery in it, so it's like perfect. But yeah, it'll go with one of these radios. Okay, you had a question about the FCC or something earlier?
No, we were just commenting about, and I know you have a story about that, but we'll save it for a later time. We were commenting on the days of the FCC and the roving vans, which you know about, and the pink slips, which you might know about, and that kind of stuff. So I think that's where it came up.
Yes, I was a bad boy. Okay, thank you, and you might need to proxy me. Oh, no, yeah. Next week on the 30th, I'm working. So you might need to proxy me in.
And I will do if you're not around, and we will look for you on, of course, the streaming audio item of interest. All right, before we go, and we need to go, I don't know, we could do this all night. Who is the breaking station for OTR?
Break OTR.
And that breaking station, go ahead.
This is 131. Mr. Reed checking in there, way late.
Hey, not a problem. We are the way late frequency 131, as indicated. Up on the screen is getting the X in the square, and I will add yet another check-in. I was doing some counting and amounting, but we will add another check-in to page 4 from Mr. Rood. Thank you, John.
All right, thanks, Dennis.
Contact.
And the contact, go ahead, over.
Is this the place to be frequency?
This is your Saturday night place to be frequency. Go ahead.
Okay, I found the right one. 70 late check-in, please.
All right, I had you checked in from a proxy from something else in one of those other nets that you check in, and so we will add yet another SWL to page 3, and you are sounding good on YAM.
Thanks, Dennis.
All right, any other items? Oh, you know what? Wait, the jingle singers are even, they even want to go. How can that be? They've got food. Oh, they want to go get the food. That's what they want to do. All right, let's do what the jingle singers do best at this time of hour.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us.
Old Tube Radio.
And be modern.
And we are definitely counting and amounting.
Breaking up warm radios, we'll just add another Robin in. And it's all your fault. Because you were asking about the hot radios, which this one is.
Oh, that is the B. Let me bring up the item here and quickly, because it is it a green radio? We might have people that actually stayed up late tonight in hopes of grabbing as many green radios as possible. So before it gets too hot, take a transmission on the Robin over.
Well, my 123B is in Bravo. It's a hot radio. Again, it's been quite some time since I took my little Weber barbecue meat thermometer attested just how hot it was on top of the sky. But it's warm, definitely. And, well, kind of, and it's not cold in this room right now. I guess it's almost chilly. But over here in the corner of the radio lamps, I can definitely, it's warm. It makes me comfortable.
Yeah, we're going to need warm radios pretty soon. I think after we get this big rainstorm and all that moisture in the ground, the days of it's nice outside, hang the laundry out on the line are going to be over.
Yeah. So, goodness sake, there have been so many interesting things that have been spoken about, just within the past few minutes. And this intercom radio that was brought up by SWL 20 last week was just fantastically interesting. I do have to ask a quick question. Just a few radios ago, I was kind of cleaning up the kitchen and listening at the same time. There was a radio that something like maybe the light in the S meter window was one color, but if you heat up, it turned a different color. Does that ring a bell?
That rings a bell, and do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to get very close to your microphonium. The Regency, the Range Gain 2 Imperial had a dual bulb on the S meter, the frosted or not frosted clear to illuminate it during receive, and then it would, when the relay would switch, it would switch over to a red colored bulb on the transmit, and so your illuminated S meter would all of a sudden be red as it was showing you either your current output or whatever. You might have the selectable meter there. One of our SWLs, who is a fan of green radios, of which you are taking a transmission on, and we will get one more transmission before you go because you are Radio 11, the Robin T123. Chrissy, yes, I believe it was sort of this kind of fall weather, good cooking winter last time when we got one of our first recipes, which I actually have a picture of it somewhere. I made the tater tot thing, which actually became a favorite, and I have not done it in a while, so I think it's about time to do that. So yes, we need to add another recipe to our arsenal that will show up on the YouTube chat thing, so you can scroll it down and take it. So Chrissy will be providing that next week, and I can't wait to see what it is and see if it's something that has some ingredients that I can actually enjoy, or I can leave something out. All right, back to Radio 11 for one more transmission on the big green thing. Over.
Okay, well, I have to tell you, that's really, really, really cool. And, I'm trying to think of why I appreciate that particular radio that, the window changes colors depending on if you're receiving or transmitting. I guess it just boils down to style. And that is really, really, really cool. It's late at night, but I don't recall ever hearing about that. So that's just awesome. So I'm not sure who checked that particular radio end, but thank you, because you're going to cause me to stay up late looking on eBay. So there it is from the Radio Lounge. Thanks for letting me check this in, the 123B with the unamplified mic. But there it is. Fun radio, warm radio, great looking radio, and it's a pleasure to use and listen to all you folks. So thanks. Appreciate it.
Okay. Did we do the jingle singers yet? I don't know. I've been multitasking here. And and I would usually know these things. Chet he would normally be up here telling me, yes, you did, but he is way up in the trying to keep the people awake. He's doing a comedy routine up there, trying to keep people awake. So anyway, we'll do it one more time, and then we'll skedaddle out of here. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You're tuned to
OTR, Channel 11,
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us.
Old Tube Radio.
And be
All right, thank you, Cornbread. Yeah, I think I need my coffee, too. I probably have not drunk even 3 cups of coffee in my entire life. I never got the thing for coffee. But give me some hot chocolate, and I am ready to go. All right, we'll be counting and amounting your old tube radios here in moments.
Did you do the Golden Beagle?
I've got you as Radio 10, and I do believe you were on the Golden Beagle, over.
Okay, that was it.
Okay, good deal. And now what I can do is, as the orchestra comes to the...
This is the Old Tube Radio Network. Ladies and gentlemen, stand by. It's time now for the current OTR totals.
You got to be careful. You're not supposed to talk over Mr. Announcer. He gets paid very well, and he gets very upset if we do that. All right, you know what I need to do is check to see if I've actually got enough audio. Yeah, I do. You can never tell listening to headphones, and then you look at the output of the meter of the thing there, and you can tell that you are doing some audio. You know what else you can do? Let's do. I haven't done this in a while. Let's do. Just quickly. Watch your ears. There's going to be a tone. Just want to see what happens on the scope. Whoa! All right, that was loud. Sorry. Sorry. Don't do that. Radios tonight. We had a bunch. On SWLs, we had 15 on page 1, 20 on page 2, 15 on page 3, and 27 on page 4, for what appears to be a total of 77, 35. Yeah, that's not bad. Radios tonight, we had 11. Hey, go Dogs. The Bulldogs won by a little bit, but a little bit is enough for a good win. Most heard manufacturer. It looks like we have a tie between the Brownings and the Robins. I was hoping we'd get another Gonset, and they're out there. It would be very hard for me to check in my G76. I actually did net control using the G76, which is very difficult to do, and I won't do it again because you have to kind of dial in the 6-meter portion of it. It's not a good way. It's not a good way to go. Started off with the Tram TR27E, all things green. We started green and we ended green. Thanks, Mr. Ed, for that. Radio number 2, the Gonset G11 from 1959, I think. The Regency Range Gain 2, double sideband suppressed carrier for your push-pull modulated audio. Thanks, Paul, for that. Glad we had some good conditions tonight. General Radio Telephone Super MC11A. Chris, working the room. Not only working the room, working the entire United States. They're on sideband as well. So, Chris, keep up the good work. Thanks for the radio. Radio number 5, the ICO Sentinel 23 from Paul, perhaps one of the early Panasonic chassis. WRL, World Radio Labs. Is it Leo Meyerson and the Hustler Radio? Thanks, Joe, for the blue radio, for those that like blue. The Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB from Mr. Ed. Acton, A-C-T-O-N. There may only be one. Does it really exist? You heard it tonight at 9:52. Go back to the replay. We don't even have a picture of it. But Harvey's got it on the radio desk, and it works as new, right on frequency. The Robin T123 with the Magic Eye. Thanks, Mike, for that. Radio number 10, the Browning Laboratories Golden Beagle R68, T68, and then Robin number 2. All things green again. The T123B. The Old Tube Radio Network, real radios glowing in the dark. Let me get back to the other item meter. I was going to check to see if we have any AM carriers at all. Nothing on 75. I don't even hear anybody on. There you go, 160. Is there a contest going on? Yeah, some type of contest going on. The diehards on 160. That's a little fast for me to be talking and copying at the same time. 40 meters is out to lunch unless you got an antenna. And if we go back to, where was it? 780. The AM broadcast band
Pitching coach Brent Strom. He was throwing 96 miles per hour. That was
is where you want to be. 790.
For you to check out and see if you do like it. It's
810. Let's go. See if KNX out of Hollywood, out of Los Angeles.
It'll be 60s and 70s tomorrow, and then get ready for a powerful storm bringing a lot of rain.
KNX out of Los Angeles.
Long Beach 62 right now. In Santa Ana 63 degrees, and in Northridge it's 59.
I'm Tim Smith.
So there you go. AM is alive and well. Thanks for joining us tonight, the Old Tube Radio Network. If you're staying up late, if not, you can watch the replay. And if not, you can join us next week and get some cool radios and a recipe from Chrissy. Good night, everybody, from your Old Tube Radio Network.
Thanks, Dennis, and thanks to Bozo Control.
Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night.
Baker Oscar, Zulu Oscar.
Yeah, this noise I've been dealing with just is not fun. This is the third week in a row. And, boy, folks, that I can normally hear.
All right, good night,
clear.
everybody at oldtuberadio.net.
God, it's not so clear these days.
And, let's see, on the video as well. All right, so 73, everybody. Thanks for hanging out late tonight.
For further licensing disclosures, please.
Boy, it's just nothing.